Hello, everyone! Have you ever heard about Annabelle, the demonic doll? This doll has been a nightmare for many people. And she's not just any doll. She's a 7-year-old girl's doll. But before we dive into this creepy tale, please don't forget to hit that like button. So let's start our story. It was 1970 when a young woman named Deirdre got a gift from her mother. It was a beautiful Raggedy Ann doll. She loved it so much that she took the doll everywhere with her. She also made 2 of her friends, Laura and Carl, jealous because she kept showing off the doll. One day Deirdre said to the doll, "You're so pretty," while staring at her reflection in the doll's eyes. Suddenly, the young lady noticed that the reflection seemed to be staring back at her. At first, she thought nothing of it. Still, she began to feel uneasy. As the days passed, the young woman started experiencing some strange things. When she turned her back on the room for a moment, she saw the doll sitting in an armchair. When she walked away, the doll mysteriously vanished. Then one morning, Deirdre went into the kitchen and saw the doll sitting on the table. The doll's head was facing the wall, and its hands were covering its face. Later that evening, when the young woman entered the room, she saw that the doll had changed position. It was now lying on the floor. Startled by this, she called her roommates over. Together, they checked the rest of the house, but there was no sign of the doll anywhere. A few hours later, Laura and Deirdre were hanging out in their living room, when suddenly they heard chains dragging metal moans. It was coming from the basement. They both looked at each other in horror and quickly ran back to the living room to find Carl lying on the ground. He explained he had been sleeping when he heard strange noises coming from the basement. He also told them that he had seen the Raggedy Ann doll standing at the foot of his bed. Its eyes were glowing red, and it had a sinister smile on its face. Although he tried to ignore it, the doll kept getting closer and closer until it was right in front of him. That's when he started screaming for help. Still frightened, the 3 friends decided to look for answers. They asked around, and one woman told them that she knew someone who could help them. She introduced them to a psychic medium, who informed them that the doll was possessed by the spirit of a little girl named Annabelle Higgins, who had lived in the house many years ago. According to the psychic, the spirit was lonely and wanted to play with someone. Since the doll was the only thing connecting her to the world of the living, she transferred her consciousness into it. The psychic told them that Annabelle wasn't dangerous, but if they didn't return the doll to its original owner, it might become violent. Although scared, the roommates didn't want to give up their beloved doll. Instead, they decided to ask Annabelle to stay in the dollhouse and not hurt anyone. The next morning, however, they found blood on the hands of the Raggedy Ann doll. Then they heard strange voices whispering their names. Days later, they discovered Carl with scratches on his body and face. He told them he had been attacked in his sleep by an invisible force. Laura and Deirdre were terrified. They knew they had to do something before their friend got hurt again. They contacted renowned paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, who arrived at the house with a priest. Lorraine immediately felt an evil presence as soon as she stepped inside. The priest sprinkled holy water around the room and the doll. After examining the doll, Ed Warren came to the conclusion that it wasn't a child's soul that possessed it, but rather a demon. Because of this, they decided not to attempt an exorcism. The priest then performed a blessing on the house, the doll, and the girls. They all hoped this would put an end to the terrifying haunting. After the priest left, the roommates continued hearing strange sounds. The following day, they packed the doll in a box and sent it to Ede in Lorraine Warren Escalating Museum in Connecticut. However, the doll caused chaos wherever she went. Once Ed picked up the doll to show her 2 visitors, she suddenly broke free and scratched him on the hand. Then she bit his finger. When Ed dropped her, she fell and broke into pieces. Lorraine, however, glued her back together and placed her in a new glass case. But even there, she caused trouble. One night, Lorraine was awakened by the sound of her husband screaming. When she rushed into his study, she found the pages of one of his books scattered across the floor. The doll had also left the glass case and was standing on his desk. Lorraine grabbed the doll and returned her to the case, but she knew something was wrong. It was then she noticed scratches on Ed's arm. The wounds looked exactly like the ones Annabelle had left on him the previous night. Just as Lorraine suspected, more strange occurrences happened. One day, a priest visited the museum. He didn't believe in ghosts or demons, and he thought the whole thing was a fraud. Just to prove his point, he reached out to touch the doll, but she suddenly moved and hit him with all her strength. As a result, he suffered a broken arm and several cuts. When he was taken to the hospital, the doctors discovered traces of sulfur in his body. Sulfur is a substance often associated with Satanism and demonic activity. Later, the priest apologized for doubting the existence of ghosts and even considered becoming a priest. Then in 2018, another incident occurred. A man who had bet $1,000 that Annabelle was unreal went back on his word after he had a serious motorcycle accident. Everyone who heard the news believed that Annabelle had cursed him. Others, however, claimed that the man simply attracted bad luck. The truth is that since Annabelle was locked up in the museum, a lot of bad stuff has happened to those who have approached her. Do you think Annabelle's legend is true, or is it a hoax? You decide! What do you think of this scary story? Tell us about it in the comments below. If you like this video, please share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. We appreciate every like and comment you make. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.